I've always been a fan of the comedy sitcom Seinfeld. In one episode, George was looking for an excuse to postpone his Christmas-time wedding, and he suggested to his fiancée Susan that they wait until March 21st, because that was the first day of spring. Indeed, if you ask around, I bet most people will say that March 21st is the first day of spring, the so-called vernal equinox. But this year, spring arrived yesterday, the 20th, at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time. Truth is, March 21st is more the exception than the rule. Since 1900, spring has arrived on March 21st in the United States only 36 times, the last time being in 1979. And starting in 2016, the vernal equinox will actually fall on March 19th, once every 4 years. Now, this variation in the start time of spring from year to year is primarily because a year isn't an even number of days. It's about 365 and a quarter. This means that spring begins about 6 hours later each year until a leap year moves it one day earlier again. Another reason is that the gravitational pull of the Moon and other planets affects the speed of Earth in its orbit. This changes the time by about 10 minutes a year at most. And also over long time scales, the Earth wobbles on its axis like a spinning top. This so-called precession changes the beginning time of spring by about a minute a year. And all this applies to the other seasons as well. So exactly what happened last evening when spring arrived? Well, let's go back 3 months to the first day of winter, when the Earth was at a point in its orbit so that its direct sunlight was shining on the Tropic of Capricorn, about 23.5 degrees south of the equator. Now, since then, the Earth has moved about a quarter of the way through its orbit. And in the process, the sun's direct rays have moved north. So last evening at 8:07 p.m. Eastern Time, they were shining directly on the equator. Now, of course, at that time, it was dark here in the Eastern time zone. So to see exactly where the sun was directly overhead, we have to move 8 time zones to our west, find a longitude where the local time was noon, and there at the equator, in the middle of the Western Pacific, the sun was directly overhead at the vernal equinox. Now, we've been taught that day and night are equal lengths on the equinoxes, but if you look at official sunrise and sunset times, that's actually not the case. Day and night were both 12 hours long last Saturday, March 17th, and daylight yesterday actually lasted 12 hours and 8 minutes. One reason is that the times of sunrise and sunset are taken when the top of the sun is on the horizon, not the center. You can blame the rest of the discrepancy on our atmosphere, which acts like a lens and bends sunlight around the edge of the horizon. I'll finish with a bit of folklore. Maybe you've heard that you can only stand an egg on end on the first day of spring because of some special gravitational alignment between the Earth and the sun. Well, it took me just a few minutes last week to do this, and trust me, it can be done any day of the year. All it takes is patience, a smooth surface, and an egg with enough tiny bumps on the shell to act like little legs and help hold the egg up. Paul's back next with the extended forecast.